The Tennessee Titans were able to get a steal on Will Levis in the draft, getting him at the 33rd overall pick. So today, we're going to build the Titans around Will Levis. But before we get into that, less than 1% of people who watch my videos are subscribed. So if you could do me a huge favor and hit that sub button, it would mean the world to me. And if this video can get 100 views in the first 24 hours of being up, I'm going to be able to reward myself with Taco Bell. So please do whatever you can to help me out. And also, let me know down in the comments below who you want me to rebuild next, and let's get into the video. So this is what the team is looking like. They got Peter Skoronski in the first round. I gave him superstar. They got Will Levis in the second. I gave him star. Other than that, the other rookies aren't in the game for them, which kind of sucks. They're not in the custom roster. But it is what it is. We're going to work with the team that we have because, to be honest, the other guys' overalls aren't going to be high enough to be slotted in anywhere anyway where they got drafted, so it doesn't make sense to. So we're going to play with the team that we have right now, and we're going to see how well they can do. I am going to move a couple things around. Like, I'm probably going to put Treylon Burks in the slot so he can get the most catches and yards. Derrick Henry is obviously going to be a center point of this offense, but Will Levis is going to be the main guy I focus around. I'm going to try to build his career basically. So let's see what we can do with this team to make it a little bit better before we go into our first season, because I want to play well off the bat because I feel like this team is decent enough to win games, and it really shouldn't be a super hard rebuild. So there's been talk about the Titans getting Deandre Hopkins, so I'm going to draft him here, or not draft him, but I'm going to get him in free agency. If he goes to a different team before this video goes up, it's just going to be what it could have been than what it really is. So that's it. But they also talked about getting Dalvin Cook. I don't see the reason of bringing him in if we're going to focus our offense around Derrick Henry. But Myles Jack is another player I want to bring in. We don't have a really good middle linebacker, and I think he's going to play a really good role for us. So that's what all the moves we're going to do in free agency. And I think that's going to help our team out tremendously. So this is what the team is going to look like going to mid-season. And let's just go there, see how well we're doing, and see if there's anything we really need to change. So at the mid-season mark, we are 4-2, and we're leading our division. So that's all you can really ask for. So let's just jump to the end of the season. Actually, first let's look at stats real quick, see why. Will Levis, only 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, though, not bad. Derrick Henry, 669 yards, 12 touchdowns, very good from him. Treylon Burks, 390 for 3 touchdowns. Deandre Hopkins, 375 for 1. And defensively, Myles Jack is leading the team. Sacks-wise, Harold Landry has 5. Jeffrey Simmons has 4 interceptions. Myles Jack has 2. Myles Jack is having a pretty good year. So let's go to the end of the season and see if we can keep it up. And at the end of the year, we are 10-7, and we're going against the Jacksonville Jaguars in the wild card. I mean, if we win a Super Bowl this year, that'd be crazy. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's take a look. Will Levis throws for 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions. Very good season from him. Derrick Henry had 1,700 yards, 21 touchdowns. Crazy year from him. Receiving, didn't do any. Derrick Henry had 887 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. Treylon Burks had 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins 1,000 yards and 5. Derrick Henry had to have won Offensive Player of the Year. He went crazy. Myles Jack led the team in tackles. Tackles for a loss, 18 for Danico Autry. Tier Tart had 15. Jeffrey Simmons had 15.5 sacks. Harold Landry had 7.5. Myles Jack had 5 interceptions. Roger McCreary had 4. Very good season from them. Let's look at the yearly awards, see if we won anything. Jacoby Brissett wins MVP. No, that just makes sense. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Derrick Henry was 10 for MVP. Very good. Derrick Henry wins Offensive Player of the Year. And Jeffrey Simmons is at 6 for Defensive Player of the Year. No other Titans. Garrett Wilson wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Will Levis was right behind him, though. So it is what it is. And Roger McCreary is at 3 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. very good season from them. So let's take a look and see if we're able to beat the Jaguars in the first playoff game of the rebuild. And we were able to beat them last week, and we do beat them this week. Now we're going against the Baltimore Ravens, who are 13-4, probably have Lamar Jackson healthy, and we lose 31-17. Not bad for our first season. We're definitely going to try to make the team better, but let's go to the offseason and do exactly what we need to do. So in re-signings, I kind of want to bring Tart back. He was decent last year, had a lot of tackles for a loss, which is kind of what you need from a defensive tackle. Nick Westbrook isn't someone I'm going to bring back. I mean, he's on the younger side. It just doesn't make sense. Our receivers are really bad, so we're just going to do a full receiver haul. Aaron Brewer, left guard. Might as well toss him a deal, see if he wants to be here. If he wants to stay, you'll love to see it. Chris Jackson, probably going to stay away from. Geoff Swam, probably. Julius Chestnut, probably. Deandre Hopkins, not really interested, so we'll worry about him last. Miles Jack, though, is a guy I want to get a deal done with. He's not interested in signing, it says, and I really don't want to pay $19 million for him for a year just to try to keep him. None of the other players I'm really interested in. So we may, if DeAndre Hopkins doesn't want to be here, I can't really offer him. I can't offer him what he wants. I'm just going to say that I can't. So I'd rather pay Miles Jack the $19 million and be able to keep him for the next season than pay DeAndre Hopkins that amount for that many years for him to just digress. So let's go to free agency and see where we can upgrade. So in free agency, there's a couple guys that I like. Obviously, I'm going to throw a deal at DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be a very team-friendly deal. If he wants to take it, he can take it. We're not winning on him, so I'm probably just going to withdraw the offer. But Jordan Poyer is someone that, I mean, just on a 2-year deal can help us now while we, get a Band-Aid for the – we're going to get a Band-Aid for him. He is going to be our Band-Aid. If I could speak, that'd be great. He's going to be our Band-Aid while we look for a replacement. Michael Thomas would be nice to have. He doesn't really want to be here, though. And Leighton Vander Esch would have been a good signing, but we already got our guy in. I completely forgot his name already. So apparently he's not that special. Sterling Shepard would be nice. There doesn't look to be that many players here that I'd want. So I think we're going to try to build more in the draft than anything else. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So before the draft, this is what our team is looking like. Obviously, Will Levis is the future. So if we can look to trade Ryan Tannehill to get picks, we will. The offensive line is atrocious. Really need to upgrade this. Tight end does need an upgrade as well as wide receivers. Treylon Burks is going to be the future, but if he can't get dev upgrades, then it's kind of pointless to keep him around. Defensively, we're going to look for D tackle, probably a left end, while also trying to figure out a solid cornerback foundation. But let's get into the draft and do some damage. The first order of business in the draft is trying to get more picks because I just want to have a stack of picks sitting there. And so we're going to trade Ryan Tannehill to a team that would need him. I mean, if we can get a player in return, I would love that. But any guy's cap hit who's $25 million probably doesn't deserve a spot and isn't going to be accessible through trade. The Colts do have an opening for him. I know they have Anthony Richardson, but the game doesn't care. They want him. And the Colts like old quarterbacks, so it makes sense that they would want him. I mean, if we could get Michael Pittman and maybe the right tackle, I would do that. It's not going to happen. What about just Michael Pittman? What do you say? Oh, you don't want that either? That's fine. I'll take some draft picks and turn these guys into studs. How about that? 2 seconds. Oh, that's close enough where I'm willing to do that. I'll throw in a fifth maybe. It's a done deal. Ryan Tannehill in a fifth for 2 seconds from the Colts. I think that just makes sense when it comes down to it. It gives us more flexibility to do what we want. So we're going to send to our draft pick, And I have a couple people in mind. Thinking about doing a cornerback for my first selection. If he's still here, and he's not, he was taken. So that kind of puts a wrench in my plans. But I'll say I think we gotta upgrade what needs to be upgraded most, and that's wide receiver. So we're gonna go with this guy. 99 speed. He's 5'9", but Madden doesn't really care how tall you are. 99 speed is crazy. So let's just go to the second round and make sure we can get a good group of solid players. And I think we want to try to go for O-line as well. Not that I think, I know we have to go for O-line. So looking at all these guys, they're all day 3 to 4, so we should get most of these guys. We're going to go with Johnny Cook as our first choice. Only normal dev. Hopefully he has a good overall. It's kind of a flop of a pick, if you ask me. But it is what it is. There's not much you can do about that sometimes. So let's take a look to see who else is here. Connor Sims or Zach Evans. I think I gotta go Zach Evans. I think we have to get our offensive line shirt up. And hidden development with 84 speed. Very good, very good. Blocking. So I say sure up our offensive line, but in all reality, it's looking like we're just gonna have a really solid core up there. I think we're able to get Glenn offered here, or who do I want? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going the D tackle. We need a D tackle. We don't need a cornerback as bad. We still need one. Hidden dev is amazing. Hopefully he can slot right in. We're gonna go to our round 3 pick
on the clock now,
and see a cornerback was taken, but it wasn't the guy that I wanted. So hopefully he's here, and he is. Connor Sims is here. That's amazing for us. He has got hidden development. 22, 91 speed, 95 excel. He's going to be a really solid corner. Now, this other guard is someone I do want, so I think I'm going to have to make a trade up for him, but I think it'll be as easy as getting rid of a guy who we're not going to use to get it. So let's just take a look at left end, D tackle, no. Right end, no. Let's see. Monty Rice. Could be as easy as getting rid of Monty Rice. The Browns have semi-interest in him. They're able to take on his contract. If I'm able to get a round 4 for him, I think that's a good trade. Done deal. We get a round 4. We're just gonna jump there, and I'm gonna get the guy that I want. He's a day 3 pick, so he should be there in round 4. And let's pray he's there, because I don't want to make a mistake and do something stupid. He's not. So I just traded up to get an undrafted free agent wide receiver. I mean, he still looks good. 97 speed, 5'10", normal development. Kind of sucky, but we don't have any more picks remaining other than the 7th, so we're just going to let the CPU do that. And let's look at the team. So going into year number 2, this is what the team is going to be looking like. That rookie offensive lineman was a 75 overall, but I put him at center, so he went down a couple. Zach Evans is going to be our starting tight end. Owens is probably going to be able to play wide receiver 1 for us in the future, depending on his dev trait. Derrick Henry, Will Levis stayed the same. This didn't change much other than adding Jordan Poyer. I didn't know we had Armani Hooker. That was kind of my bad. He's only 25, but Jordan Poole is better than him, or Jordan Poyer is better than him right now. So we're going to let that go. And this is what the team is going to be looking like going into year number 2, like I said. So let's sim to the midseason mark and see how well they really are. We are 4-3 at the midseason mark. Definitely not where we want to be. I think it's the same as last year. But let's take a look at the stats. Will Levis is having a good season. 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, but 9 interceptions. Definitely got to get that lower. Derrick Henry, 700 yards, 8 touchdowns. Very good from him. Treylon Burks, 400 yards, and Zach Evans, 300. And Kyle Phillips with 400. Where's the rookie that I got? Bradley Owens has 304 touchdowns. I got to make sure he's in the slot, but I'll make sure I do that off camera. Harold Landry has 7.5 sacks. Jeffrey Simmons has 5. Interception-wise, Sean Murphy-Bunting has 2, and Armani Hooker has 1. Nothing crazy from this team. If we can step it up a little bit, that would be great. But let's go to the end of the season and hope we can make the playoffs for the second time in a row. We do. We make the playoffs going 11-6. So let's see if we're able to beat the Ravens in the first game in the wild card. And cross your fingers, we lose 28-14. They kick us out of the playoffs again. Not bad though. We made the playoffs. That's really all you can ask for. Will Levis, 4,800 yards, 41 touchdowns to 21 interceptions. Kind of Jameis Winston type situation. Derrick Henry, 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns. Receiving, Treylon Burks, 1,000 to 8 touchdowns. Bradley Owens, 1,000 to 9. Zach Evans, 800 to 4. Derrick Henry, 700 to 5. Very good stats all around there. Jeffrey Simmons, 14 sacks. Harold Landry, 11.5. Tier Tart, 6. Interception-wise, Sean Murphy-Bunting with 6. Connor Sims with 3. Harold Landry with 2, as well as Amani Hooker. Very good stats from them. Let's look at yearly awards, see if we got anywhere close to winning them. And it doesn't look like we did. Anthony Richardson up there, that's cool to see. So was Bryce Young. Derrick Henry wins Offensive Player of the Year. And Jeffrey Simmons at 6 for Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year was Bradley Owens, so he'll get a depth trait upgrade. We had 3 of the top guys for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Very good from us. Connor Sims was 4th for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Let's take a look at the roster real quick. Just make sure everything's good. And Bradley Owens was Superstar X Factor, actually. So that's really good to see. Zach Evans was Star Dev, but quickly got up to 79 overall. Very, very good from him. Will Levis at an 82 overall. Not bad. And then let's look at defense. Offord didn't play as much as I would have wanted him to play. Did not reveal his depth trait already. That's kind of sad to see. But Connor Sims is star, but he quickly became one of the better cornerbacks on this team, so I can't be mad about that. But let's go to re-signings, where we're going to have to try to obtain Myles Jack. And there's actually 2 pretty big names here that I have to re-sign. Derrick Henry and Myles Jack. I'm going to re-sign Derrick Henry to a 4-year deal. He's glad he got an offer done. Myles Jack, on the other hand, he wants to be here. And so I'm going to have a player-friendly deal. And he's excited to stay with a great team. I wish he was excited last year to stay with a great team, but it is what it is. Andre Dillard, left tackle. Got to keep him around. Just trying to keep our offensive line the way it is at least, and then we'll build off of that. But everyone else can kind of go, if I'm being honest. I'm not really worried about any of these other guys. They're replaceable. Christian Fulton doesn't want to be here. And I don't want to shell out money to someone who doesn't want to be here and isn't really that good. So we're just going to jump right into free agency. I want to try to get cornerbacks and offensive linemen and edge rusher if possible. Justin Herbert is here. If they didn't have a quarterback, I would think about it, but just not right now. Chidobe Awuzie would actually be a very good slot, very good guy for 2 years. He wants to be here, so that's another perk about him, and he's very interested. We could actually probably bring the money down and still get him, but I just want to, be 100% that we get him and not mess around with that. Jedrick Willis, however you say it, he wants to be here. We have a high win percentage apparently, and we are winning on him, which is nice to see. Is there really anyone else that I want? I don't think so. I'm looking down the board here, and there's just not anything crazy. And I don't see anything. Jadeveon Clowney. I do think we could go Clowney. Bring him into the Titans. see what he can do. I mean, it's just going to be a band-aid for edge rusher until I can find something to replace it with. So I'm going to send those through. Those are the 3 that I'm most happy about, and we get all 3, which is really nice to see. So let's take a look at the team before the draft. So with the addition of Jedarick Willis, the offensive line is looking really good. Zach Evans is up to a 79. Obviously, we had a superstar X factor in the draft. That's really great to see. We could still use a solid wide receiver, but for right now, it will do. Defensively, there's been a ton of upgrades. Miles Jack stayed, obviously our 2 outside linebackers, but Kevin Byard went up to superstar X Factor. We got Chidobe Awuzie. Sean Murphy-Bunting gained it from last season. Chris Sims is our CB3, and Jeffrey Simmons is still superstar, adding Jadeveon Clowney there with him. I think that is an amazing group of guys that will definitely be able to get stuff done, and it's just great to see that. So let's go to the draft and build on top of what we've already built. To me, this draft class isn't really that stacked. And so I just don't see why I should be picking this high. So I'm going to try to trade back and get a pick for the 2024 draft. Hopefully a pick that's a first. I mean, going back to 32, getting a second next year and a 6th makes sense to me. Just to make sure there's nothing else here that I want to try to get. I do still want to keep my 2024 first, and it looks like I could do a deal with them, but that's getting a second. I don't really want to get a second. I want to stack picks for next year because this draft class this year just doesn't seem that good. I could be totally wrong, but I'm going to go with the Broncos here. It looks like the best deal, and it still can get the player that I want. It was around 2 to 3 talent. This way I can guarantee I get him. And he's a defensive tackle, so it's the kind of thing where if he's better than the guy we got last year, or I guess he moved up. Yeah, he moved up, so he's now 1 to 2. So I'm glad I'm moving up to get him now. And he's only normal dev. That is kind of a bust. I was hoping he'd be hidden development. So just another normal guy. I guess we can use him as depth. For this pick, I kind of want to use. I kind of want to get some more depth at our offensive line. Because, I mean, if we can have a younger guy in there, that would be much better. Calvin Hood is the guy I was looking at. He looks solid. Awareness in any guy is good. He has hidden development, 85 strength. Not bad. You love to see it. So this next pick, I don't think I have to do it this early. I think I can actually trade away this pick and try to collect picks for next year. So we're going to be looking for a 2025 third or second if someone wants to give that up. They probably wouldn't, but it is what it is. 2025 third and 7th, 2025 third. I don't know what pick I should do. I think I'm going to do the Jacksonville pick because we get a 3rd and 5th, which is what you like to see. So we're going to skip to the 4th round where I'm going to grab this guy and then I'm going to send the rest of the picks. I don't really care what it's saying where he's going to go at. He looked good enough. And I really don't have any reason to, not take him right here. So Steve Finnegan, it's a day 3 pick. It's round 4. So he could go anytime now. Hidden development, you love to see it. So let's go to the end of this. Fix up the team a little bit and then go into midseason. And we just revamped our entire offensive line, which I'm really proud of because we get Peter Skoronski, Hood, Finnegan, Cook, and Willis Jr. all on this offensive line. 2, hidden development players, could be star, most likely star. We get Zach Evans. We have a superstar X Factor receiver for Will Levis and Treylon Burks, who we're obviously going to try to get better. We're going to put him there. He's a 2nd-year rookie. And then we have him who is better than the guy we drafted, but with the dev trait, he could get better no matter what. So let's go to the midseason mark and see how good this team really is. And we're 4-2, so it seems like every season we're 4-2, but let's take a look at the stats to see why we're 4-2. Will Levis, 1,600 yards for 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, better than last year for interception-wise. Derrick Henry, 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. Receiving, Bradley Owens, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. Treylon Burks, 303. Kyle Phillips, 205. Zach Evans, 204. Defensively, for sacks, Jeffrey Simmons has 3. Quandre McCutcheon has 3. Jadeveon Clowney has 2.5. Connor Sims has 3 interceptions. Miles Jack has 2. Decent stats from there, but hopefully we can build on that to end the season strong and make the playoffs for a 3rd time. Let's go. And we go 12-5, missing out on the wild card round entirely, which you love to see. But let's take a look at the stats. Will Levis throws for 4,500 yards, 38 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. Derrick Henry has 1,700 yards rushing with 16 touchdowns. Bradley Owens has 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Treylon Burks, 900 yards, 7 touchdowns. Zach Evans, 800 yards, 7 touchdowns. You can look down the line. And let's look at defense. Miles Jack led the team with tackles. Jeffrey Simmons, 12.5 sacks. Jadeveon Clowney, 12.5. On Quandre McCutcheon, 6.5. Miles Jack, 4 sacks. Connor Sims, 4 interceptions. Miles Jack, 3. Good stats from the defense. They're definitely putting pressure on people. And NFL race, or MVP race, it doesn't look like there's any Titans there. AFC, Derrick Henry just misses out on Offensive Player of the Year. No other Titans there. Defensive Player of the Year, Miles Jack at 4. No other Titans. Offensive Rookie of the Year, no Titans there. I think we had mostly defensive draft. Quandre McCutcheon gets Defensive Rookie of the Year, so that's really good for him. I want to take a look to see what some of the dev traits were that we got from our offensive line. I'd be really shocked if it was Superstar Dev, but you never know with this game. And it looks like it is normal, or no, Hood went down, so it's going to be Star Dev and Star Dev. Nothing crazy from them. Doesn't look like anything happened with the other players. Whereas McCutcheon's is now a 80 overall, or playing up to 1 at least, with normal dev still, but hopefully he goes up to star, which would basically make him better than the guy we have below him. But let's get to the divisional round and see if we're able to finally beat a team in the divisional round. We're going against the Dolphins, and you never know, the Dolphins could be a good sim team. They're not. 28-7. We're going against the Chiefs, who are definitely the better simulation team and have the better team, so it would be an upset for sure. We do 37-31, and let's jump into the Super Bowl versus the Giants to see if we're able to win. So here we are in the Super Bowl, and we're just going to skip to the end of the game and see if we're able to win this one. We're going down the field. We score 7-0. We get the ball back. We go up 14. We get the ball back again, 21-0 so far. We're driving down the field. It's 28-0 going into halftime. And we go down, we score 3 points, 31-7 so far. We scored 38. I don't think it's possible for the Giants to win. I think you can already say that the Titans are going to win this one, and we do. The Titans win this one with Will Levis and Derrick Henry. So thank you guys so much for watching this rebuild. Remember to let me know down in the comments below who I should rebuild next, and also make sure to like and subscribe for more football content. Peace.